let's get in this story about Hugo de Almonte and a follow-up that we have about Khalid. So, um, I was like, do I have? Oh yeah, I do have that. You know what? I was going to talk about this Ray J thing. We'll save that for tomorrow because we're already 4 hours into the show. So, not that I'm complaining, but I'm just saying. So let's just we'll focus on that. We'll do that story tomorrow. So, Hugo Diamante has responded to the allegations made by Khalid. So he jumped online, the vent about, after Khalid jumped online, I should say, the vent about the triggering claims made against him by his ex. Hugo Diamante, the bisexual reggaeton rapper and OnlyFans creator, has seemingly responded to the allegations. That he outed the singer by channeling his inner Aaliyah and said, I'm sending him a 4-page letter and sealed it with a kiss. And if I write him, he better make it on time. Yeah, that's what he said. Because when I show y'all this little carousel of pictures, I was like, this is a long ass post. It's like, damn, do we need that much of you bringing this up in regards to this whole situation? So, all sense and purposes, let me pull this picture up and let's get into her. So, Almonte reportedly outed Khalid in a series of since-deleted posts, after which the OTW singer confirmed that he is a homosexual. Now, Khalid followed a post with a video in which he said that he was abused by Almonte, not the other way around. Now, Khalid also insisted that he never used pink booger sugar and that Almonte was not his former escort, as he'd alleged. Well, I think Hugo even said he was an escort. But this is what people on social media were saying, because when you look at somebody like a Hugo, who is incessantly good looking, he spends a lot of time, he pretty, and who spends a lot of time on his body, and trust and believe, when you good looking, you're going to work your assets to get what you want. It's kind of like what they said in Showgirls. It said, when you in the strip club, they pay the money, they get what they want. You give the people what they want to see, in so many words. I know I'm paraphrasing, I done messed it up, but it's like you pay, you give the people what they want to see for the coin. And it's like, that Hugo, I'm not saying that you was out here prostituting and in the situation, but trust and believe, there was a transaction that happened. When you be in a relationship, you benefit wholeheartedly for having this fine ass man on your arm. I'm not sitting there saying that Khalid is ugly, because he's not. He's got a cute face. He's like what you would call average, comparing like when you looking at a Hugo. And Hugo definitely benefited, because when y'all were together in a relationship, you benefited by traveling around the world. And yes, I am referencing Lisa Stansfield yet again. When you traveled around the world and with Khalid, I'm sure Khalid was using his money and things to pay for y'all to go to highly expensive, high profile restaurants and traveling to France and all these other places. What you said is that he had you sit in the car for 2 hours while he went shopping. So it was like, while you sit up here running off on one hand saying, oh no, I wasn't in the closet. Sir, yes, you were. You were in the closet, because while it may have been known in LA circles, a lot of people suspected, but you wasn't on the radar of people being like outing you, not to the point of a Shawn Mendes, where every time you turn around, people are equating Shawn Mendes with gay rumors or one to out him. And he's been going back and forth and flip-flopping on, in regards to that conversation. So you were out among certain people, but now that you've kind of been outed by him, you just want to get ahead of him, like, yeah, I'm out. Okay, and so what? It was never a secret. But it wasn't like national news. It wasn't like you was writing songs where you was talking about your love for other men like other artists have, when it comes down to them talking about me. So technically you were not out to people. If we're going to break it on down and be specific about things, you weren't out. You were outed. But now that we know, we can move on. So then he went and said that all this is definitely frustrating. I'm not going to run around like I'm unbothered. I never said I was unbothered by anything. This is very bothering. I had to say something. So all this stuff that was coming out, but I want to know is like, who was the one that ate you behind like groceries? Who's the one that slobbed your knob and gave like bad head, as he said? And who was the one that ordered you pink booger sugar? Because I don't think he was just genuinely, directing all of this at Khalid. I think he was probably talking about a multitude of people, and he was probably fed up. I needed to be more specific with that. And then when it came out about the whole thing about him calling Khalid ugly, which of course people were so quick to jump on that, he said, I wasn't talking about his looks. I was talking about his spirit, that he has an ugly spirit. And I'm sure that, everybody's got a dark side to them. Everybody's got an ugly spirit. Trust and believe. There'll be moments where when you piss me off, I go scorched earth. Like I said, when they go low, I go to the earth's crust. When I'm pissed off and I want to take revenge on certain people. So we all have our ugly sides. But of course, people ran with that because you didn't elaborate on it. And I understand in the heat of the moment, when you in your emotions, I'm more of a logical thinker. Until I'm at a point where I just go off and then I regret when I was like, damn, I shouldn't have said that. But maybe I don't know what Hugo's sign is, but he probably is an emotional person and posted what he posted. And of course, people are going to be quick to jump to that. You should have established that in the beginning, but he didn't. And that's where, we are today with people thinking like he was, being shady. So now in a new Twitter post on Thursday, which was Thanksgiving, this is why I'm bringing this story up now, because we didn't have a Thanksgiving show. And this was the latest that happened a couple of days ago. So Almonte said that he was truly sorry for stirring up the situation while sharing what he says is the full story of what happened between him and Khalid. So, I took screenshots, child. So that's page one of the 4-page letter. Yes, I'm channeling Aaliyah up in this. So, Almonte said that after meeting at a party a few years ago, the two began a relationship and Khalid broke things off with the former partner. Things took a dark turn, Almonte says, after Khalid allegedly spread rumors that Almonte had broken into his home. Now, Almonte, who denied the allegations, also said that Khalid was still telling people he had broken into his house and threatened him with calling legal authorities. So he said even after he had moved on from the situation, that Khalid was still out here spreading these rumors. That's why he, had his head back up against the wall and he basically said what he said. Now, Monte, they also said that imagine being accused of something so serious, something you didn't do, and then being threatened on top of it. I tried to move on, but the constant lies, manipulation, and threats took a toll on my mental health. I was exhausted, emotionally drained, and at times I didn't recognize myself anymore. I reached a point where my mental health collapsed and I made a mistake I deeply regret. But I'm wondering, like, was this all like recent that you need to bring this up? Because I'm like, if this happened 4 years ago, and then this rumor was still spreading around, was it that you were at a recent event or something and people were whispering amongst each other or somebody brought it up to you at an event or wherever you were out at and this may have like triggered something? Like, I need more specifics in the situation. I'm giving y'all the cliff notes because I'm not sitting up here reading this. If y'all want, if you're on your big screen, because I don't know if you could read this in on a what do you call it, if on your phone or whatever, but it's like, yeah, you could pause it and take the time to read or whatever, but I'm sure like on a big TV screen you could probably read this his screenshots more than anything. And you already know how I feel about screenshots because it's, well, not screenshots, but like the IG stories, because that's where he posted all this. He posted this whole thing in his stories rather than just posting it on his page. Because I always say, like, if a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, then does it make a sound? And that's what y'all be doing with y'all apologies and all other stuff. You put it in your damn stories, it expires in 24 hours, and then it's no longer there. So it's like, is it a real apology or is it a BS? And I don't just say this about him. I've been saying this about a lot of people. Now, Monte continued by expressing that on the day he posted about Khalid, he wasn't in a rational state of mind. Clearly. So I had reached my breaking point. The stress, the allegations, the lies, it all built up until I went into a psychosis. I wasn't thinking clearly. I was reacting from a place of deep pain and frustration. Now, moving forward, I'm focusing on healing mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I'm learning from this experience and working to ensure I never handle conflict in this way again. Watch, I was about to break out into Dionne Warwick. I never felt love this way again. And he said Almonte received a swift backlash for the post, while Khalid saw a grand show of solidarity from new and old queer fans. What else? Because that was, page 2. And hold on, let me scroll to the next one so y'all can read that. So yeah, it's like even after I heard, even after he apologized, there were people leaving like nasty comments and stuff. But look, at least he owned up to his stuff. At least he apologized. It's like, yeah, I went into a rage. I went to a psychosis. I was emotional, and we've all been there when we've done things where we kind of regret down the road and stuff. Like I've done some things where I've cussed somebody out. I was like, you know what? Maybe I should have pulled back a little bit. So I understand in that way. But yes, Hugo, you're not off the hook in regards to certain situations that you did, but I'm glad that you acknowledge it. Now, also with Khalid, you're not off the hook either. Because now I feel like everybody trying to treat him like a fragile little teddy bear. Like he's innocent in this situation. Because I'm sure that you use your money and your power and your influence to get certain things out of Hugo. I'm sure the sex was amazing. Sex with me is so amazing. See, now everything becomes a song on this whenever I use a damn reference. And then also, when it came to that, so I'm sure the sex was fire, and I'm sure that Hugo was looking at this as a point where, because I know a lot of people out here thinking, oh, he's a colorist or whatever the case is, he never had a black boyfriend. Yeah, I seen a picture of his last boyfriend. I forget what his boyfriend name was, but no shade, he looked like Rodney Chester from Noah's Ark. His ex was giving Rodney Chester tease. If you don't know who Rodney Chester is, you can Google Schmoogle him. But yeah, what's the guy? What's the bitch? What's the T? Yeah, her from Noah's Ark. Um, Spring Glitter Girl, you know her. uh, so that's what his ex was giving. So he's been with darker skinned men before. I hate the fact that whenever y'all see somebody, because y'all got y'all traumas or whatever the case is, the minute you see a light skinned guy get with somebody dark skinned, y'all be reading too much into it. Y'all always want to call colorism and all that other stuff. So, it's not that far-fetched for me to think, because it has happened before. We've had many conversations on this show about people who are in positions of power, not just straight people, but homosexuals as well, who are in power positions that use their money, they use their power, they use their resources to get over the little person. And I do feel that, Hugo, who is a fledgling independent artist, probably saw like when he got with Khalid and this stuff, maybe he was like, yeah, could you help me out with my music? This is a situation that happens a lot in this industry. It's not just in music, it's with acting, whatever the case. And you've seen situations where big name celebrities will put their significant others on and give them a job in industry spaces. And maybe it was Khalid was in a place where he was being selfish, was like, oh, I don't want this pretty ninja to one up me or give him an opportunity. I'm gonna still use whatever I can out of this situation to be able to, do whatever. And so and all the other stuff was coming out, the emotional abuse and all the other things that Hugo has accused Khalid of doing. So I don't think either side is innocent in this situation. So I'm still baffled as to why Hugo was airing out 4-year-old T. I'm still kind of confused about that. But like I said, I do believe that Khalid was benefiting from having a hot piece of trade on his arm, and Hugo was benefiting by traveling around the world and with someone who's moderately famous in the music industry. Because let's be clear, Khalid has success, but he's moderately successful. Y'all are not checking for him like y'all check for these other bigger name artists. If we're going to talk real, we're going to talk real. So I also believe that some people who have money and power will use said money and power to emotionally abuse and control those who aren't in a similar position that they are in. So, like I said, I believe there's two sides to a story, and then somewhere in the middle, there's the truth. And so, yeah, that's the last page of the old sort of thing. I told you it was a lot that he posted in there. Where he basically said, thank you for who's been supportive of him and those who've held me accountable. I hear you and I'm taking the steps to change. So when someone says that, and it's like, I'm someone who's learning, growing, and trying to be better every day. He's young. He's in his 20s. So was Khalid. So we all did some messed up stuff when we were in our 20s. So I'm not going to hold him too hard on that. But, I windmilled you a little bit in the beginning. But now that you've come out and you've acknowledged and own up to your mistakes, and you're saying I'm trying to learn and grow from my mistakes, I'm in for it. I'm all for people who's willing to learn, to develop, learn and grow and heal from a lot of the stuff that they're doing. So kudos to you, sir. So I say all this to say, what do y'all think of this story in regards of Hugo and Khalid? I definitely want to hear your thoughts on this. So let me know in the comments down below.